This is what absolute terrified panic looks like. Disney already canceled the UK premiere of Snow White, a gigantic $300 million budget movie, because they were worried about backlash over the woke storylines and the huge mistake that Rachel Zegler made, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Like, there is nothing inherently political about this movie. I would already be telling people, hey, the main actress, Rachel Zegler, hates you, so you shouldn't pay money to see it. But Rachel Zegler made a $500 million mistake that Disney absolutely knows about, and we're going to talk about it. And this latest change shows you that Disney is completely without any idea how to handle this. I'm going to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access, and we're going to get into the rest of the story. Shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, if you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out, and Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is never censored. If you don't have a VPN, make sure you get Private Internet Access. It's the one I use. It's the one I trust. Now, you remember I said, what was the biggest problem? Well, there's nothing inherently political about the Snow White remake. They remake all the classics and make them worse. I'm used to the fact that they wokeify their modern remakes of the originals, and it hasn't really seemed to hurt them that much. Sure, some of them haven't done well, but others have done spectacularly. The real problem with the woke Snow White remake is, first of all, Rachel Zegler told you she hates you. Remember that. She told you she hates you. But second of all, she has made this movie inherently about Palestine versus Israel. The group of protesters involved in this are some of the most unhinged, irresponsible, aggressive, meltdowny individuals imaginable. The fact that Rachel Zegler decided to hashtag Free Palestine while on the tour to promote this movie forced it to be a Palestine versus Israel, because Gal Gadot, her co-star, is Israeli. If Gal Gadot had, or if Rachel Zegler had an ounce of brain in her head, she would have known maybe right now is not the time to virtue signal. And because they're so worried about protesters showing up at these premieres, they've canceled the UK premiere. I've seen almost no advertising online. I don't know about you, but I've seen like nothing. And now they have canceled the US premiere. The $270 million Disney movie, so woke, its premiere is being held in secret. How backlash against Snow White remake, which dumped dwarf actors and, quote, sexist romance, has forced producers to quietly relocate its opening to a remote Spanish castle. They have completely been held hostage by Rachel Zegler's slacktivism. You know, Rachel Zegler isn't donating any money to the Palestinian resistance. She's not going over to Palestine and taking up arms. She's literally just tweeting. And she has tanked a movie that, by the way, with a $270 million budget, that probably doesn't even include most reshoots, which means the budget of this film is at least $300 million, probably closer to $400 million. which means it needs to make $700 to $800 million at the box office just to break even. Now, is there a shot? Sure, maybe. I'm hoping that the people watching this video will tell a friend, don't go see Snow White. She hates you. And she hates money. She hates Snow White. She hates Prince Charming. Why would you give this broad your money? Disney hates you. The premiere for Disney Snow White remake has now been relocated to a remote castle in Spain after Disney forced to scale back promo amid backlash of its woke themes and stars Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler. Film bosses had originally planned a stage of glittering Hollywood worthy of Hollywood soiree, I think that's how you say it, worthy of the staggering $270 million spent making this debacle, with events planned in LA, London, and around the world. Yet amid a series of scandals and PR nightmares surrounding the remake, Disney has now scaled back the planned lavish premieres to just a handful of tightly controlled press events, the biggest of which is now thousands of miles away from the glare of the media, with Zegler, Snow White, and Gal Gadot, the evil queen, jetting to the tiny city of Segovia, northwest of Madrid, which boasts a population of just 50,000. Media outlets have not been invited to the event, and at the medieval castle that rests in the rocky crag of western end of Segovia's old city, which has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Want to bet that there's tons of quote-unquote critics and influencers invited? Quote, that's why they've taken this highly unusual step to not host a London premiere of the film and are minimizing the amount of press questions that Rachel Zegler is even allowed to answer. The fact that they're trying to hide it means you need to leave a like on this video and you need to share this video. They want people to not know how evil this woman is and how much she hates you. They want people to not know the vile things that she said. And they want parents to still take their kids to the movies. Like I've said in other coverage of this, I have a perfect alternative for parents that want to celebrate Snow White with their kids. Go to your local movie theater that you want to support. Buy a bucket of popcorn. Go to the grocery store. Get some snacks. So you can even make your popcorn at home, obviously. But make snacks. Get the buckets. Have fun with it, right? And go watch the original Snow White. Watch it as a family. Turn down the lights. Get some snacks. Maybe some like themed cakes or themed cupcakes. Or get the girls' little princess dresses or whatever. Do it like that. It'll be way more memorable, and you won't be giving people that hate you your hard-earned money. I mean, this is something that I work very hard to do in my life, is not give people who hate me money. Today is a prominent example of I don't really care about the architecture. The public has been banned from entering the castle on Wednesday and Thursday, with a notice stating that it's simply been closed for a private event. Want to bet protesters find out? Does anyone want to bet me that protesters will find their way there? Instead, Spanish Zegler fan accounts have been sharing evidence of the premiere coming to town. Later this week, the cast will return to the States. Zegler and Gadot expected to attend a pre-party and a screening in LA's El Capitan Theater. On March 15th, coverage will be limited to simply photographers and house crew. While most premieres invite dozens of media outlets to cover the event and interview the cast, the studio has decided they are too afraid of what might come out of stupid Rachel Zegler's stupid mouth that they have gagged her. And you know what? She hasn't said a word about it. Is anybody surprised? I think I would be offended that my boss says I'm not allowed to talk about my movie. But they clearly put in the call. Zegler has attended an event in Tokyo to promote the film Solo last week, but Gadot and the rest of the film refused to go. Gee, I wonder why. The choice has come amid criticism and fears that the remake prioritized woke messaging over authentic storytelling. Since casting Hispanic actress Zegler, who's never been in a movie that's made any money before, fans have highlighted the woke deviations from the classic fairy tale, notably from dumping the traditional romance plot because of its sexist to reimagining. Whoa, it's been so long since I've done it. Hold on. Reimagining the dwarves as diverse group of magical creatures of all heights, gender, race, and bedroom preferences. I mean, the whole thing is bonkers. Zegler also, of course, criticized the original as extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman's best fit is in the world. I mean, this woman is single-handedly destroying this film, and I'm absolutely here for it. Then, look at this. Rachel Zegler's Snow White box office projections now up to $22 million lower than an already low outlook. Snow White's box office projections are continuing to slip as the release approaches. The upcoming movie is a remake of the 1937 musical, which was the first ever animated feature in the United States, blah, 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 blah. Per The Hollywood Reporter, at the time of this writing, Snow White is projected to debut at the domestic box office with an opening weekend between 48 and 58 million. That puts this movie on a significant downward slide that could see it coming in up to $22 million lower than its initial upper bound, as the movie's long-range projections of February 7th were between 63 and 70 million. And to be honest with you, at 63 to 70 million, that movie's probably not making the money. Look at this. It remains to be seen if the debut forecast spell doom for the movie. If Snow White comes in at the bottom of its current projections with 48 million, it will still most likely earn the second highest grossing of domestic opening weekend in 2025. Up to that point, behind Captain America, which also lost money. By the way, Captain America made 88 million its first weekend and lost money. Dumbo opened at 45 million and grossed $353 million. That would put Snow White at a $200 million loss. 200 milli loss. Now, of course, maybe it's like Mufasa, where people are going to just keep seeing it because people just need their darn kids to shut up for a few hours and get some peace. I understand that might happen. But I am calling on people to remain steadfast that this woman hates you, this company hates you, and they want to hide it from you so they can steal your money. Do not see this movie. Continue to let Disney panic. Make fun of anybody who's seeing this movie. Remind people who are seeing this movie just what the star thinks of them, and offer up my suggestion on possibilities for other things you can do to celebrate Snow White that does not put money in the pocket of Disney and Rachel Zegler. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.